Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're well. This starts with a Facebook message I received from Kathleen, Matz, who I met some years ago, uh, and is the focus of this. I received from Kathleen, Matz, who I met some years ago, and is the focus of this. Received from. And so, Kathleen. I think it's better to explain what she wrote, and then I'll back into some other details regarding how we met, which really do factor into what I'm about to discuss here. First of all, what she wrote basically was that I'm sending this on behalf of N4RJ, which is Neighbors for Racial Justice, regarding your participation in our Facebook group. Neighbors for Racial Justice has some concerns about recent posts you added to our Facebook group. We decided to delete the post about the shootings at Lake Merritt, quote, "Some Black kids don't value Black life." The post didn't reflect the values Neighbors for Racial Justice holds and seeks to amplify in our group. While we are interested in hearing from a variety of voices in our group, we ask that the post shared with our group be mindful that every problem in our community has deeper roots that may not be immediately apparent. We are interested in revealing the origins of these problems and working to solve them from there. We also don't believe that shaming people is helpful, but can serve to perpetuate the problems our community faces. Thank you for your understanding on this, and please reach out to us if you have any questions or would like to discuss this further. So my retort went like this. I disagree. Kathleen, did you watch the video? I will vlog about this because it's news. But did you watch the video? She didn't respond to my question. And if the problem is my shaming the Oakland community, then I'm happy to learn the truth, that the community can't handle the truth. In the 46 years I've lived in Oakland, Oakland has never really been kid-friendly. And the decline of the popularity of scouting, as one example, I was a Boy Scout, has made that an even greater problem. As one example, in other words, things that kids can do, right? Oakland has become more and more violent and uncaring about its children. And the fact that we have such a large homelessness population proves it. Also, I own a media company. And so my content has already gained 10,000 views, and I'm just getting started. I'm going to make Oakland sorry for the awful situation it has placed Black kids in. Buckle up. And Kathleen forgets how we met. This is how we met, right here. This was at the Oktoberfest, October 3rd, 2016. They had a booth called Neighbors for Racial Justice, Oakland white folks who want to end racial profiling. Here it is, right here.
And they're going to tell you what this great group is all about. Who first? You first? Yeah?
Yeah, we are local here in the Diamond District, and we started around issues with racial profiling on Nextdoor, which is a social network right, for neighbors.
Wait. Thank God. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And it was upsetting us, and we were like, we're going to push back, and we all met one another. And we formed a group. Yeah.
High five. Sorry about that. I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, that's how we started, and that's what we're continuing to do. And we have a vigil at the corner of MacArthur and Prevail every Saturday, rain or shine, at noon.
Wow.
Noon to 1.
Hey, so what's the response been today at Oktoberfest?
So far, really positive. People are really happy to talk about racial justice, racial injustice. They really like the signs. They want the signs. We actually ran out of our sign-out list.
I'm glad you all are doing this. Yeah. Folks, if you see them, give them a thumbs up. Take the signs. Thank you.
All right.
Is there a website?
Yes, neighborsforracialjustice.org.
Cool. You got it.
And we're on Facebook too, Neighbors for Racial Justice.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Now here's the fact, okay?
Hey, folks.
the fact of the matter is that they're white, and so they're looking at racial justice from their point of view. They can't help that. And so the group of us has never had a real conversation about anything to really, so that they understand where I come from as a Black person, which I would think they would be really curious about. The assumption is that on their part that I think just like them, which completely denies my background or any interest in it. Also, what they're talking about regarding what is posted on Nextdoor has to do with people who have been, say, walking down the street, who are Black, who might be fumbling for their keys in their pocket. And so someone white sees them at a distance and thinks that the fumbling for the keys in their pocket is, them trying to get some sort of knife out of their pocket. I'm not kidding you. That's racial profiling. Okay? That's an assumption that a person Black is going to do something negative. Okay? That is far different. That is parsecs different from what happened at Lake Merritt and the horror that I captured on that video that I posted that, quite frankly, is still jarring to me. And that video is here. And I will just fast forward to the part that that a number of people by now have seen, that the chief of police has pointed to Lerone Armstrong as disturbing, but people don't look at it with the same eyes. And that's why it's very important to have a dialogue about what caused it. And that's why I say it's our fault. This is that part of it. And I run this.
That says the gurney is taking a person in the ambulance.
And again, the reason why I said this was staged for video is look at all the video, the smartphone cameras with activated video. Where were they posting to and why? It was creating a multiple video moment to send out a message. And I contend that it's quite possibly are paid to do that.
This person gets on top of the ambulance. Now, mind you, they're putting a person in there. He's on top of it, and you can't see what's going on because there's so many people blocking the way. See, that is, you can see the buildings behind it, the apartment buildings that are part of the Lakeshore neighborhood. They're just off. All right, this is another angle, slightly different from another camera. Stop there. Again, that's a gurney. Okay. This is actually from another cell phone next to the other cell phone we saw in the video we saw before this one. Okay. And so you get a better view of this person getting on top of the truck and throwing a football and the crowd that's coming toward, okay? And then we go around to the other side where this person's still on the hood, dancing on the hood of it.
And you get the idea. By now, you get the idea, okay? What is that? And then there's another video that I have where shots rang out while the ambulance was there. Okay? I'm not kidding you. That video was just posted a day ago. You hear what I'm saying? A day ago. And we're supposed to see all of this and react like, oh, there's no problem, nothing's wrong, when these kids are acting out that there is a problem and they're sought their solution to whatever they see the problem to be. The one thing that Kathleen, I don't think even stops to think about, I would guess she doesn't, is a simple fact that she and I, when we were kids, didn't have social media. We didn't have smartphones. They do. And so what happens, particularly if you're Black and you're a kid, is you get these constant communications about racism. I've heard 14-year-old Black girls talk about how they feel society doesn't value them. At 14, where do they get that from other than social media? And we have no place for them to go to get away from their phones, to get out, to be around people other than school. And then school today basically reflects what life they live on their smartphone. There's no Chuck E. Cheese. There's nothing in Oakland for kids. And these are things that we've talked about for decades. No Chuck E. Cheeses, no golfing games from Malibu, for miniature golf. Think about the sheer need, the savage shortage of activity we have for kids and teens so that they have something else to do. We give them nothing to do. This was the same problem that reared its head in Festival at the Lake in 1994. We had the riot. I'll never forget that time because the Adams Point Preservation Society, as it called itself then, I believe it still calls itself now, had this idea that the Festival of the Lake should stop at 6. Remember, Phil Tagami and I said to Nancy Reeser and the group that we should extend the stop time to 8 o'clock because we have this 2-hour gap where the sun is up. The kids have nothing to do. And so what's going to happen is trouble. We said it was going to happen. That's exactly what happened. Police cars go up Parkview Terrace off Grand. Reportedly, someone threw a bottle at the police car. Police car called for backup. 8 cars came up. People threw things at those cars, a couple. And that escalated into a chain of events that I, as Montclair's first Black columnist, was scribbling as it happened. Didn't have smartphone cameras in those days, okay? I saw an 18-year-old Black pregnant woman arrested on the corner of Perkins and Grand Avenue, and quite literally thrown into a squad car. I'm screaming at the police officer, "What the are you doing? Stop. I'm going to get you fired." I mean, anything. This wound up in my coloring piece, okay? All of this. It was horrifying to see the way Oakland treated Black kids. She hadn't done anything. She was pregnant, folks. This was in 1994. You want to tell me that Oakland has changed since then? Sure, we get better in bits and pieces, but in terms of an overall overarching policy that protects Black kids, we don't have that. We've done everything we can to push Black folks out of Oakland, okay? And you think these kids don't see that they're not aware? Of course they are. And then Kathleen, you want me to not talk about or not mention, or the people that Neighbors for Racial Justice don't want to see that. Oh, boo-hoo. And if they're black, yeah, shame on them. Because it's very easy, particularly in today's society where some of us know how to program and build our own companies and all this, to then say in the next breath, hey, you know what? I'm just not going to get involved. I'm going to check out. I'm going to go to Hawaii and just hang out. Okay. What is that going to solve? The problem's going to be there, and the problem is going to do what it's done. It's festered, and it got worse because former Mayor Jerry Brown became Governor Brown again. And what did he do? One of his first acts was to get rid of redevelopment, ostensibly because it was going to save the state of California $1 billion, even though he was told by the California Redevelopment Association, well, actually, that's not going to happen. And it didn't. You could have saved redevelopment and still saved $1 billion. Why is that important? Because prior to Governor Brown cutting the cord of redevelopment, Oakland had an enormous affordable housing budget. The final year of redevelopment, we had a $111 million affordable housing budget for that year alone, from the 20% set aside from tax increment financing revenue that we collect through our agency. We had, if memory serves, $109 million the year before that, and $88 million the year before that. If you extrapolate that stop to today, we would have enough money, if you believe the study that said that $847 million will be enough to clear out the homeless problem in Alameda County, to basically not clear it out, but, stop it, give people housing in a good way, not a bad way. If you believe that, then here's a bitter pill to swallow, a red pill. The red pill is Jerry Brown completely eliminated our ability to annually prevent homelessness from becoming a problem in our city. Okay? That's what he did. So, what happened over that time? You know what happened. Black population went down dramatically. We put in strong mayor. What happened with that? With ranked choice voting, what happened with that? We got people leaving Oakland who are in professional capacity in Oakland. A brain drain, a loss of institutional memory of how we used to do things. So bad that today we have people who represent economic development who don't even understand how to implement redevelopment. And that much was obvious last week at the presentation that the city gave to the county of Alameda. I cried. That's how bad we were. That's how low we've sunk. All of this impacts the environment we've allowed to develop that those kids live in and have acted that way in. It's our fault. I worked for Jerry Brown. I worked for Jerry Brown on the 10K project, but I had no dream at the time that we weren't going to have redevelopment. We had it. We knew we had the luxury of gaining more money for affordable housing because we would have more market rate housing because of the formula, because of the policy. It was all there. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful setup. But then you got to the state and click, gone. Folks, you can't tell me that didn't have a big impact, because it did. And then it's been our inability or a lack of desire as a city to establish policies that maintain low skill yet well-paying jobs. Jobs that by their nature, okay? By their nature, all right? Allow a person with barely a high school education to feed a family of 4 or 2 if necessary. By contrast, and thank you, Mr. Mitchell, I'll post that in a second. By contrast, when I was working in economic development coming out of grad school in 1987 and leading toward the early 90s, we had as many as 120 job training programs in Oakland. We were funding people, Black folks, who could establish their own nonprofits to help other Black folks get jobs, or at least get job training. It was a great system. It kept people employed. Sure, the city had a loan program that I thought was a bit too greedy, but we adjusted it. I sat on the Community and Economic Development Agency, representing the mayor, committee representing the mayor of Oakland, Elihu Harris. I was good at reading spreadsheets and profit and loss statements. So I loved helping Black businesses figure out how to navigate their spending so they could better pay off a loan, or just have the whole thing converted into a grant, which I really pushed for. And Ignacio was like, oh, you did it. Okay. I took pride in that. What I'm talking about is we don't create an economic structure that helps Black folks. And you know it. You know it, Kathleen. You know it. And the people out there, if they're new to Oakland, they need to get educated about where we came from that created where we are right now. And no, I'm not talking about someone who's been here 20 years. Hey, 46 years like me. All right. Mr. Mitchell says, I was there. It was a celebration until the shooting. There was no control over the flow of people, and the police had it blocked off in both directions. It felt like we were trapped with no protection. Wow. And then he says, I felt like more than 60% of the people had a gun. That's what he wrote. That's what he said. Okay. It was a horrifying situation, made more horrifying by what I'm about to show you that you should see. And basically, it's this. One moment, please. I'm getting the video for you here so you can see it. Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Hold on a second, folks. Things don't quite work like I want them to. And I'm getting it for you in one moment, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Here it is. Okay. It's right here.
Oh, hey, everybody. This is on TikTok.
Hold on a second. Now let me take this and transfer it. Okay? So that you can see it. It's going to replace this right here. One second. Okay. Okay, folks, hold on a second. I'm coming back. So now you can better hear me here. Let me replace this video with this other video. Right here. There. Okay. All right. This video.
Oh, hey, everybody. This is on TikTok, and this video was just uploaded a day ago by Mia Abbasi, and this is a shooting that occurred right next to the ambulance that was there to take the victim in from the previous shooting that was reported on. Watch.
I'll stop it right there, okay? And this was the full area right here. This was on TikTok. This spontaneously happened as the ambulance was there, all right? And they're running. So Robert Mitchell, this, that proves what you're talking about when you said that you felt like more than 60% of the people had a gun. This happened spontaneously. And if you go back and take a look at the scene, there was an ambulance right there. All right, right here. You have these folks running. Okay. And they see it says emergency blitz. I think that's not an ambulance. That's actually a moving truck. Right? And this was at night. Apparently, I believe after the first incident happened, this is a second set of shots. All right. So David Compton says you're 100% correct about the people because I lived there in the middle of it in East Oakland in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And so my point is, it's not a matter of scoring points of being right. It's a matter of establishing a conversation. Okay. And what I believe is Kathleen, you can't talk with people and just have them listen to your voice, but you don't want to listen to, in this case, my voice. Or you may have other people that may want to listen to your, my voice. You all have looked at this problem from maybe a white perspective of how you want people to talk. You don't, the criticism is that white folks commonly have a problem talking about race. Okay? So much so that, judging by what you wrote to me, it's hard for you to separate a racial profiling example where someone is quite literally guessing at what a black person will do because they're black, from a black person talking about the observation that they make about what another black person is doing when they are doing it. Again, light years different. Light years different. We have to take the red pill, to pull that term from the Matrix that I find myself using quite a bit, and have this dialogue about what we're doing in small ways and large that makes Oakland unfriendly for black kids. And then whatever we identify, we have to turn that around. Again, I say that something you might find really stupid is one example, like having a Chuck E. Cheese and something else. Someone else might say, we have those, but there's always somebody that doesn't make it nice. Okay, we've heard that refrain for decades. My retort is, if we know that, get an urban level of security, but don't make that the reason you don't have nice things. As someone said the other day after this happened, we can't have anything nice in Oakland. No, it's not that we can't have anything nice in Oakland. It's just that we don't insist on it. We don't insist on it. And we don't figure out a way to reward people, reward teenagers for keeping other teenagers in line. Okay? There's a whole ecosystem that we haven't even tried to construct. Why is that? I say it's because at the very heart of it, we don't care. That the problems are distilled to, well, they're in a gang, without even telling us what gang there is or who's in the gang or anything, or how the gang formed or anything. It's just that we're in a gang, and in these days, people want to write articles rather than make judgments about what they see and argue. Okay. Okay. He says, seems they don't care, isn't he? It does seem that way. Okay. Robert Mitchell says we need the place like Castle, where it's an arcade with batting cages and go-karts. We really need it since the A's might be leaving. Yeah, we need it regardless of what the A's do. We need it for the kids, because you got a point there, right? The A's leave, you're going to have a real problem in terms of where do you take your kids? You want to see baseball. Giants, that's it? Wow, okay. And that gets to a whole other issue about Oakland's lack of will and initiative to complete big projects. We have giant problems, folks. Silencing one another is not going to make those problems go away. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. And there you are, Kathleen. There's my Hail Mary. Catch you.